why your prayers haven't stopped lust, and what God is really building in you. You've prayed that same desperate prayer 427 times. Every morning, God, take this lust away from me. Every night, after you fall again, Lord, I'm so sorry. Please, remove this from me. You've begged, you've pleaded, you've fasted, you've wept. But the sun rises and the battle returns. The temptation creeps back in. The war rages on. And now, you're starting to wonder, does prayer even work? Is God even listening? Am I doing something wrong? Or am I just beyond hope? But what if I told you, God hears every single cry, every tear, every broken word, and He is refusing to remove your lust on purpose, not because He doesn't love you, but because of what He's actually doing in you. Here's the truth. No one tells you about prayer and lust. You think the goal is for God to just erase the desire, wipe out the temptation, give you freedom without a fight. But that's not biblical freedom. That's spiritual infancy. God could remove it in an instant. He has the power, but He chooses not to. And before you feel abandoned, listen close. When God doesn't answer the way you want, He's answering the way you need. Your prayer isn't failing, it's working, just not the way you expected. I'm about to show you 7 biblical reasons why God won't remove your lust through prayer alone, and what He's forging in you through the very battle you keep begging Him to end. Reason 1. God isn't trying to remove the battle. He's giving you authority over it. You're praying for deliverance. God is building a warrior. You want the enemy to disappear. God wants you to learn how to crush him. There's a massive difference. Jesus said in Luke 10:19, I have given you authority to trample on snakes and scorpions and to overcome all the power of the enemy. He didn't say, I've removed every snake and scorpion from your path. He gave you power over them. If God answered your prayer the way you're asking, you'd never develop spiritual muscle. You'd stay dependent on constant rescue. But God isn't raising fragile children. He's raising sons who know how to war. That's why your prayer isn't stopping lust. It's supposed to build something stronger, authority that only comes from repeated victory in battle. Reason 2. God is more interested in teaching you how to fight than giving you a fight-free life. You keep asking Him to remove the enemy, but what happens the next time temptation hits? You'll need deliverance again, and again, and again. You'll spend your life in crisis mode instead of learning spiritual warfare. James 4:7 says, resist the devil and he will flee from you. It doesn't say, pray for God to resist him for you. You resist, you fight, you engage. Every time you say no to lust and choose obedience, you're not just winning that moment, you're training for the next one. You're building the reflex that says no before your body even processes the thought. God isn't answering your prayer to remove lust because He's answering a deeper prayer you didn't even know you prayed. Make me strong enough to stand. Strength doesn't come from never being tested. It comes from being tested and not breaking. Your unanswered prayer isn't rejection, it's training. Reason 3. God would never remove what He's using to shape you. Romans 5:3-4. Suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance, character. And character, hope. Your lust battle isn't random, it's targeted. God is using the very thing you hate to build the very thing you need. Character isn't formed in comfort, it's forged in conflict. Every time you face temptation and choose God over flesh, something inside you is being transformed. Patience, self-control, humility, total dependence on Him. If God removed your lust today, you'd get freedom, but you'd stay immature. God loves you too much to give you freedom at the cost of Christ-likeness. The battle you're in right now is the refining fire, and He's not putting it out because He's not done refining you. Reason 4. If God instantly removed your lust, you'd stop needing Him every day. Think about it. When the struggle eases, how often do you pray? When life feels good, how desperate are you for His presence? Most believers only cry out in crisis, but God knows your lust battle keeps you at the altar. It keeps you dependent. It keeps you on your knees every morning. Lord, I can't do this without you. And that desperation, that's intimacy. Paul begged God 3 times to remove his thorn. God said no, not because He didn't love Paul, but because that weakness kept Paul clinging to God's strength. If God removed your lust, you'd lose the daily closeness that struggle creates. You'd become self-sufficient, and spiritual pride would destroy what freedom could never protect. God isn't withholding deliverance, He's protecting intimacy more. Sometimes the thorn stays because the closeness it creates is worth more than the comfort you're asking for. Reason 5. Every time you pray, God isn't changing your lust, He's changing your heart. You think prayer is about changing your situation, but Romans 12:2 says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Prayer isn't just about getting what you ask for, it's about becoming. who God is calling you to be. Every morning you pray, take away my lust. God is actually working on your pride, your self-reliance, your illusion that you can control this sin on your own. He's teaching you, you can't. And that revelation is the real deliverance. Your prayer isn't failing, it's revealing, exposing where you're still trying to manage sin instead of surrendering it. When you finally stop asking God to remove the battle and start asking Him to sustain you through it, everything shifts. Lust might not vanish overnight, but you will. And when you change, your response to lust changes. And when your response changes, lust loses its power. Reason 6. God won't remove what He's preparing you to help others through. 2 Corinthians 1:4. He comforts us in all our troubles, so that we can comfort those in any trouble with the comfort we ourselves receive from God. Your struggle isn't just about you. It's about every man you'll one day help. If God delivered you instantly, you'd have a nice testimony, but no one could relate. You couldn't speak into the shame, the relapses, the exhaustion, because you never walked through it. But when you endure this battle and come out still standing, still faithful, still trusting God in the war, you become dangerous. You have authority to speak into someone else's fight. God isn't keeping you in the struggle to punish you. He's keeping you in it to prepare you. Your future ministry is being written in your current battle. The longer you endure, the more lives you'll touch. Reason 7, the most important one. God doesn't always give you what you ask for, because what you're asking for isn't what you actually need. You're asking for freedom from lust. God is giving you dependence on Him. And dependence is better, because freedom without dependence leads to pride. But dependence with struggle leads to humility, and humility keeps you close to Him. Jesus said in John 15:5, "Apart from me, you can do nothing." Your lust battle is the daily reminder you need Him, not just for the big things, for everything. The goal isn't a life without temptation. It's a life lived in constant communion with the one who sustains you through it. If removing your lust would cause you to drift from God, He'll leave it there to keep you close.
So here's the truth you must cling to with everything in you. Every single time you drop to your knees and pour out your heart, begging God to take this lust away, and it still lingers, He is not ignoring you. He is working fiercely, intentionally, lovingly, right in the center of your storm. He's forging authority deep in your soul. He's teaching your hands how to grip the sword of truth and fight like a man who refuses to lose. He's shaping your character in the white-hot furnace of trial. He's guarding the sacred intimacy that only desperate hearts ever know. He's transforming the very core of who you are. He's preparing you for the day you'll stand in the gap for broken brothers who feel exactly like you do right now. And above all, He's showing you the greatest gift isn't a life without struggle. It's His presence, real, tangible, unbreakable, right in the middle of the fire. Your prayer is not unanswered. It's working in ways your eyes can't yet see. You asked God to end the battle. He's teaching you how to win it, over and over again. You asked for lust to vanish forever. He's giving you power to stand over it, unbroken. You asked for comfort and relief. He's giving you strength that no storm can shatter. And here's the truth so many miss, the one that changes everything. The moment God finally removes your lust is not the day you become truly free. You are free, right now, when you refuse to let it define you anymore. You are free when you fall and rise again without drowning in shame. You are free when temptation crashes in like a wave, and you still turn your face to Jesus and say, "No, I choose you." Freedom is not the absence of lust. Freedom is the presence of Christ, steady, strong, closer than your breath, walking with you through the very fight you once begged Him to end. That's what your prayer is building, not a life scrubbed clean of temptation, but a life so deeply dependent on Christ that nothing can shake it. And that, my brother, is infinitely, eternally better. So if you've prayed until your voice cracked, and God hasn't taken it away yet, don't you dare believe the lie that He doesn't care. He cares more than you know. He's doing something deeper, something holier, something eternal. Stop begging Him to remove the battle. Start asking Him to carry you through it. Stop pleading for instant deliverance. Start thanking Him for the daily grace that keeps you standing. Stop measuring your freedom by how often you're tempted. Start measuring it by how often you choose Him anyway. Because the man who never battles lust isn't stronger than you. He's simply untested. But you're in the furnace right now. And every single day you lift your eyes to God instead of your flesh, you're becoming the warrior He's been sculpting from the very beginning. Your prayer isn't failing. Your old understanding of prayer was just too small. Prayer doesn't erase lust. Prayer holds you steady, while God reforges you in the crucible of it. And when you finally stop fighting against the process, when you open your hands and embrace the purpose behind the pain, everything changes.
Not because the temptation disappears, but because you're no longer scrambling for freedom. You're fighting from the freedom Christ already won for you. Romans 8:37 thunders through the ages. In all these things, we are more than conquerors through him who loved us. Your struggle isn't disqualifying you. It's qualifying you for authority that breaks chains, for ministry that heals hearts, for an intimacy with God that only comes through raw, daily dependence. So keep praying, but change the cry of your heart. Don't ask God to remove the struggle. Ask him to fill it with his presence. Don't ask for a life without temptation. Ask for strength to crush it under your feet. Don't ask for deliverance. Ask for dependence, the kind that never lets go. Because the man who truly overcomes isn't the one who never faces lust. It's the one who faces it every single day and still chooses God every single time. That's you. That's your calling. And that's what God is building right now through the very prayer you thought he wasn't hearing. Comment dependent below if you're ready to stop begging God to take the battle away and start asking him to walk with you through every moment of it. And if you're hungry to understand why God lets this struggle feel so impossible sometimes, watch the next video. I reveal the hidden purpose behind the war every Christian man fights. Links in the description. Subscribe and stay in the fight with truth that doesn't hide the pain, but shows you exactly how to win. You're not fighting for freedom anymore. You're fighting from it now. Rise up, warrior. Live like